What's good? Welcome back to Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford, and you'll hear Danny Green after our break, but I'm going to ride solo here for a little bit because I'm recording this Tuesday night right after the Cavaliers got their series-tying win over the New York Knicks in Cleveland in game number 2. Big difference? Cavaliers actually rebounded the ball and got a standout performance here from Caris LeVert. LeVert finishes with 24 points, 4 of 9 from 3, 9 of 16 from the field, and every Knick member of their big three shoots under 50%. Julius Randle, 8 of 20. Jalen Brunson, 5 of 17. RJ Barrett, 4 of 13. So, Knicks didn't get what they would like from their star players, and the Cavaliers definitely did, especially Darius Garland, who had 32 points. This series, in my opinion, is going to go down to 7 games. These two teams are tightly contested, and considering where the Cavaliers were after game number 1, you can't handicap desperation enough. When a team is more desperate, these type of things happen. I'm going to be very curious to see when the desperation levels for both teams are even keel, see what happens from there. One thing I will note, and obviously if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably already aware of that. My guy, DG, got 20 minutes today. 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 points. But I think, I know rather yet, as much as I've watched Danny play basketball, and I know the impact that he has on the court, those 3 points might seem minuscule, but again, if you go back and watch the film, it's all about the spacing that he creates. The threat of his jump shot helps other people play better. It's been happening for, 14, 15 years now? So I'm going to be very curious to see what JB Bickerstaff and the staff do now that they have inserted Danny in a game where they ended up winning. Isaac Okoro, only 3 minutes of game time. Picked up 2 fouls early and never played really much since then. Danny's not here, but I would say that is a cause for concern. Isaac Okoro started all year long, was a very valuable player to the Cavaliers roster. And regardless of the 2 fouls in the first half, you would have thought that, okay, come second half, he will at least get to turn back up and give it a try again. But he never got a chance again. That was it. And that's not good. That's just, I'm curious to see where Isaac's confidence is, seeing that. And seeing how the Cavaliers are going to be able to handle the situation going forward. Because now, Isaac should expect to play. He started all year long. At the same time, Osman is given great minutes. Caris LeVert just came off a great game. And again, Danny, while he only had 3 points, I think if you watch the game, you realize that the threat of him standing in that corner opened up a lot of offense for the Cavaliers, made the shot attempts cleaner, paint not as clogged. It's going to be an interesting battle between the coaches in terms of game plan and seeing how they maneuver from here. And I'm very curious to see what Isaac Okoro's presence is going to be for the Cavaliers going forward. It's a tilting situation. It reminds me of last year when Danny was playing with the Sixers, and he didn't have a good year for the most part. But when the playoffs came and Matisse Thybulle got contracted COVID, Danny all of a sudden thrust into the starting lineup, played well, and Matisse basically became a bit player, if any type of player at all, because of COVID, and he wasn't able to go to Canada. And Danny played very well last year in the playoffs, shooting over 40% from the three-point line. So, I don't know. It's good. I find myself very intrigued to see what happens from here. It's going to be a great series. You got a lot of star players. Best believe Donovan Mitchell is going to have to definitely play a larger role, I assume, when they go to Madison Square Garden. The usual thing when it comes to role players in the playoffs, or it comes to game planning or predicting how playoffs will go, the stars play better on the road. The role players do not. And so the 24 points from Caris LeVert's not surprising at home. Can he travel with that game to Madison Square Garden? Those are going to be key because the Knicks already stole home court advantage. So I'm excited, man. If you listen to this podcast, I'm sure you are. If you listen to this podcast, either you're a basketball fan, a Cavalier fan. So I've already stated, if you've listened to this podcast before, I've already stated my allegiances, and Danny knows it too. I would love for him to play well, but can't lie to you guys. I was born and raised a New Yorker, so I would love the Knicks to win. It's a very conflicting thing for me. Watching the game Tuesday night was a very unique experience for me. Watching Danny in the court, hope he plays well, but still kind of thinking to myself, okay, I kind of still want the Knicks to kind of play well. I'm all over the place with this series. I'm hoping I can get to a place where I can just sit back and enjoy, and I hope that's what you're doing as well. So Cavaliers get the dub 107-90 over the New York Knicks. Game number 3 is Friday, so best believe we will be updating you guys on that after. And another bit of news that came out on Tuesday as well. Draymond Green, who, if you've been listening to this podcast over the past couple of years, you probably know that my theory around Draymond Green is that he doesn't play basketball enough. It's about 80%, 70% of the time when he's on the court, he's not playing a sport that is basketball. He's playing football, whatever. But in this instance, I'm disappointed the NBA has suspended Draymond Green. It's clear from the video, Domantas Sabonis grabbed him. If you try to replicate what happened to Draymond Green, how many times would you do what he did? All right, maybe you don't come down with the same amount of force. But more than likely, if somebody is tripping you up when you're ready to go full force, you're going to lose your footing. You're going to lose your balance. And you're not going to give a damn who's under you when you try to regain your balance, especially if your ankles get grabbed. So I think the NBA took it a little bit too far here. I think they're going to look to regret that decision. And if Sabonis ends up playing game number 3 at Chase Center and Draymond Green is not there, we're inching towards the situation where the Golden State Warriors might get gentlemen swept. The reigning defending champions, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, well, no Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins. Gentleman sweep is officially on the table now with no Draymond Green for game 3. It's a bad move by him, by Draymond. I still would say that, but I did think the NBA overstepped their bounds. And I think Damian Lillard commented on the decision on Twitter Tuesday night, basically shaking his head. And I'm shaking my head too. NBA has gone too far with this one. Again, if you watch the video, Domantas Sabonis grabbed his ankle as he's ready to lift off on a fast break. It should have been a take foul. But I don't make the rules. With that being said, thank you again for tapping into Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. Again, I'm Harrison Sanford. After the break, part number 2 of our interviews with Donovan Mitchell and Desmond Bane. Hope you enjoy. Hope you subscribe, rate, and review, and give us a 5-star, please. We'll see you guys next week. We'll probably tap in after game number 4. So stay tuned. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. How could you not? See you guys next time.
We'll get an opportunity to play with him and Jared on the floor. And I'm a defensive guy, so I'm able to guard guys on the perimeter and not have to worry about them getting layups. I got 2 rim protectors behind me, so I can get up into guys, take away 3, take away pull up, and be like, all right, good luck finishing at the rim over these guys because they're blocking everything. And on offense, you're gonna have so many lanes because somebody step up, you could easily drop off to them or throw a lob. It makes the game so much easier. But he has great touch. He has a great touch around the rim. He's getting a little pull up, little fadeaway. And once he polishes that mid range and then extends that to 3-point line, I think it's going to be very scary for a lot of people in the league.
Yeah, for sure. I think then you got to follow up on that one.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of all-stars and Evan potentially being an all-star, how was it for you going back to Utah for all-star this past year?
It was cool. I think for me, like you spend, your career there, they watch you grow up, and then you come back not only as an all-star, but all-star starter. First time in my career, it's one of those moments where you just felt like you were just there. Like, it didn't feel weird, didn't feel different. Like you know where everything's at. You know what I'm saying? You know the
No
arena, you know the
nostalgia.
crowd. Yeah, like you just was just like, man, like, one of those moments you just talk to God, like, appreciate it. Like, thank God, for the moments, you sit there and reflect on where your career has gotten to this point. You know what I mean? And where it can continue to go. But being back in Utah, the love, the fan love, seeing guys being in that arena, I think it was something special. My family came out, to be a part of it, and just to be able to relive the old days, as you want to call it, for a weekend. I'm going to be able to experience that. I think it was pretty dope.
For sure. Not everybody gets love when they get back to us. When they're traded or they leave, or people think that you don't get cheers a lot of times. A lot of guys do get booed when they go back home. So
100%.
It's always a good feeling to get that love, and people show you love when you come back to the city and a place that you can call home. So that's pretty dope. But switching lanes, we talked about it earlier. You touched on it earlier. I wanted to ask, how did you become a big baseball family and a fan? How did that come about?
My dad played for the Astros when I was a kid. And when I was born, he was a free agent. He got let go from the Astros, and then literally a day later, he gets a call from somebody on the Mets saying, "You want to be a coach?" And that's how I spent the first, I don't know, 15, 16 years of my life, maybe a little bit less, of just nonstop baseball. So we're in high school, I'm in middle school, high school, and I'm spring break, everybody's going on vacation. I'm going to spring training. I'm in there working out with David Wright, Jose Reyes, Pedro Martinez, Oliver Perez. Guess where I'm getting my work, and then I'm going back to play middle school baseball. So it's like, it's an unfair advantage. I'm sitting there in bullpen sessions during the summer. Guys are throwing 95, and I'm just sitting here watching, getting the feel, getting the flow of the game, getting the feel of how to be a pro, preparing for baseball. And then, that was really where it stemmed from. And I had all thought that I was going to play baseball. The basketball wasn't even in the picture.
This is crazy because this is the second person in a row that we've had that were baseball dominant. Desmond Bane was a baseball dominant player too growing up, and he made the change. So I'm wondering, when it was it for you that you were like, all right, I kind of want to, when did you make the switch and decide to go full-time basketball and go that route and leave baseball behind?
That was my sophomore year. I got hurt playing baseball, and I missed out on the whole summer of basketball. And I was fuming, like during watching guys. That's when guys are getting ranked that summer. Yeah. That's a big summer. So I'm over here like, man, like I'm over here low in the rankings. I missed out on the whole summer because and that just built that fire, and I just missed it, and I transferred schools. I went to Brewster Academy after that, and then that's when I went from 3 college offers to 26 in my first year, and after that, and that was it. I got some offers that coaches said I could do both if I wanted to, but I was so stuck on, playing basketball. But yeah, definitely believed, even growing up, that like baseball was a sport. Like where I am now, I thought it was going to be baseball. I don't know how good I would have been. I thought I was pretty solid, but I definitely believe that baseball was the route for me.
I think anything you would have done, you probably would have been good regardless the way you work, my friend. But it turned out well for you, kid. I'm glad that you're on the side, and it's good to see you grow up into a all-star, superstar basketball player.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Donovan, I have to admit something though, because I've been to Danny's house before. I've hung out with him multiple times. He's never brought up baseball. I never walk in his crib seeing him watch baseball. As somebody who's grew up loving the sport of baseball, can you give Danny the elevator pitch to either become a Major League Baseball fan or a Mets fan? I know there's some rule changes. He might find it more entertaining this time around.
I did notice one
rule changes, though.
You're not? Okay.
Interesting.
Not a fan, but go ahead, Danny. What was you
I said I noticed one rule change that helped the game be better for me. When we went to the game the other day, we went to see the Seattle Mariners play the Guardians, and the pitching, the shot clock for the pitcher's mound made the game faster.
The pitch clock.
The pitch clock. There you go. The pitch clock
that
made it like, okay, we moving faster. Now we got something saying what's going on.
That ain't
a lot
it
of times
for me.
like watching paint dry. But go ahead. What rule changes happen that you don't like?
Wait, why you against the pitch clock?
Because I just feel like I was a pitcher, so like a lot of baseball is mental. A lot of it is like the mental battle. You know what I mean? Like you throw a pitch. All right, is he late? Is he early? Did I finish? Did I finish over? Like, am I like, I'm still, it's like you're thinking, and I feel like the pitch clock is just rushing. It's just like, all right, go, 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 just because we're trying to build that excitement, which I get, and there's a happy medium, there's a balance. But you look at some of the older guys, Max Scherzer has talked about it, like he struggles because it's like a whole mental, every pitch is methodical. This isn't like basketball or like football where you do the hurt. Like there's not like it's just like it's one of those things where every pitch is
Gotta
important.
be locked in. Yeah.
You gotta be locked in. I feel like
But it also rushes the batter too, does it not? It rushes the batter as well.
It does, but I think it hurts the pitcher more so than the batter. Because the batter,
sure.
like at the end of the day, like you have batting practice. So you're used to kind of getting in there swinging and whatnot, but it's the pitcher and then the 2 pickoff attempts. You only get 2 per at bat.
Yeah.
So basically, if
tough.
I get 2, you get a free stolen base. Like that's a whole nother mental part of the game that guys don't even think about. And the bases are bigger, so they're incentivized to stealing. Which like I said, I get it. You want to be able to see it, run scored. You want to see the offensive production, but as a former pitcher and someone who likes to just sit there and watch how players think the game and what they're thinking, I'm not a big fan of the pitch clock.
Yeah, no, I understand. I get it fully, man. You're coming from a pitcher's perspective. That's like me saying, because I played football, a quarterback, seeing a quarterback having to throw extra possessions or move faster, it definitely is a disadvantage for him. So I get that point of it, but it makes the game a little bit faster. And I think it's better for the fans, but less exciting for the pitchers. And you'll probably have to rotate it out a little bit more now that the arms getting worked out a lot. And also the thought process is kind of rushing them, but it is making the game a little more entertaining for me, as a fan.
Yeah, we are seeing an uptick in offense, more stolen bases to start the season. So interesting MLB season on the way. And Donovan, I feel like as well as we've gotten along during this podcast, I really feel like we're on ends. I told you already that I have to root for the Knicks, and I'm born and raised as a Yankee fan. So we are on opposite sides here, my friend.
Yeah, it's tough. The Yankee fan hurts me. The Yankee part hurts me for sure.
The part of the reason was 1996. My dad asked me if I wanted to go to school or if I wanted to go to the ticker tape parade for the Yankees. I'll miss school and I'll go to the ticker tape parade. So pretty much ever since then, I've been signed, sealed, and delivered. But actually, one thing that we do see on the same page, it looks as if you have an admiration for stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy, and it looks like you put on an event called the Dons of Comedy Show. I have 2 questions as it pertains to that. 1, can you just describe what the experience was like? And then 2, as somebody who loves comedy, there had to have been one moment during this season where the whole locker room was on the floor laughing, crying. I want to know what that is. Obviously, if it's not for listening or viewing purposes because of the audience, then you can give us the PG rated version, but I would love to hear what that was and just about the event in general.
I love stand-up comedy. I get treatment almost every night, and I pretty much, if the game's not on enough, that's pretty much what I watch. From Kevin Hart to Dave Chappelle. There's
Cat Williams?
Cat Williams. I was about to say Cat Williams. There's Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley. Like I can go Bernie Mac.
The kings of comedy,
Like I can go down the line. And there's a new guy out of New York. His name is Ian Larvin. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's pretty funny. Got to give him a shout out. But for me, I grew up watching. I don't know if you guys remember this. DG. I don't want to say you're old, but you might have been in the league when Shaq did his Shaq's All-Star Comedy Jam. That was crazy
enough. Sorry to interrupt. He did it here in Cleveland. So he had brought a thing. Yeah, my rookie year, he brought Kevin Hart to Cleveland, and I think it was him and Bron. But Shaq did it. He hosted. I think that was kickstarted. Comedy. But they brought Kevin Hart to Cleveland, and he did one of his stand-ups, which is on DVD. That's when I had the hoop earrings.
Way back.
Yeah, way back. Yeah, so it's crazy. But my bad. So continue.
You're good. That was my first athletes in stand-up comedy kind of coming together. I never forget that lineup. The first one I saw was there in Phoenix. It was Cedric who was hosting. You had Tommy Davidson come out, D. Ray Davis, Ari Spears, and Kevin Hart. And that was funny. It was funny as hell.
Yeah, they killed it.
I was like, I'm going back to Utah. Obviously, there's different things you can do at All-Star Weekend. And, I never heard of what was happening on, I think it was Thursday we did it. I was like, let's try a comedy show on Thursday. And we gave all the sorry, I'm throwing this little thing around. we gave all the proceeds to a school I've done a lot of work with out there called Curds High School. I didn't want to do it for any money or anything about monetary wise. I just wanted, just to be able to bring guys together on a weekend and have laughs and do it for a school that, I've always shown love to and I appreciate, 100%. One of the most diverse schools in Utah. It was special. My mom, put on the whole event and then give a big shout out to everybody involved: Chris Spencer, Tiffany Haddish, Earthquake, D. Ray Davis. They were phenomenal. They killed it. I'm looking to do it, hopefully every year. I'm looking to continue to build upon it. So it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of things that go into putting on a comedy show that I didn't realize. But I'm glad that we got it done. I'm glad that they were a part of it. I'm super grateful for them and for my mom, as well.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Especially that the proceeds went back to his school. But be able to get to people love to laugh, man. Comedy shows, who doesn't love a good comedy show? So especially when you're in a city where, there may not be as many events going on like Utah or Cleveland, unless they bring All-Star there. But when you have the middle of the season or in the winter or something like that, and you have a comedy show people you and your teammates can all go to, I think that's a good thing. But I think for me, the season, I don't know if you have one, but for me, it's a come full circle moment is when I said we talked to Des about it today. I left Memphis to come here, and we talked about the little scrap, which was the comedy moment for me. But I don't know if you guys had one during the year that might have been the comedic moment for the group in the locker room. It could have been between coaches, it could have been between the players. Was there any moment that really hit home, or something, that event that happened, or a road trip, or something that was going on that you guys really enjoyed or was cracking up about?
I can't pick one thing. I think I'll speak to guys laughing at me as the one thing. You were there for this when I missed the free throw in Brooklyn. And the putback, and I saved.
Free throw and
putback.
Like, damn, Don.
Yeah. And they were like, "What happened?" I was like, "Fam, I don't even know." Like it went wide right. We had a good laugh about that one. Who really brings the joy, like, of our locker room, is Jetty Osmond. Jetty comes in on a day-to-day basis, different rap songs every day, cracking us up. I think that's something that really doesn't go.
Yeah, he's reading rap songs that the song is going on. He's reading the lyrics.
He's rapping on the plane, starts rapping.
It might be Cardi B or something too. It might be Megan Thee Stallion. You don't know who it is going to be. And he might be rapping some Cali rapper. Like, what the hell is that? The song of the day? I'm like, Jetty's going off. Funny as hell.
Jetty is a comedian, man. I can't really think of one that's like, kind of got me stuck. I think when he had 30, I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah. But I don't know if you noticed, but I think Jetty might have a hearing problem because I don't think he can hear himself. The way he talks, he talks so
loud as hell.
So DG, what's up, fam? And it's like, bro, I'm right. Jetty, I'm right here, bro. What's up, dude? But he's always, you can hear Jetty from everywhere. I mean, he's always rapping lyrics. He's funny. He's messing with the staff. But yeah, we have a good time, man. It's a good group, and they all enjoy each other's company. So it's fun to be around. But that's dope, man. You do a comedy show. I'm looking forward to hopefully being a part of or be able to attend the next one that you do. But I think that might be all for today, huh, H?
Nah, that almost there. They got a couple ones real quick. So Donovan, you've been hooping, and it looks and again, this has been one of your best years, if not your best year. It looks like you got, man, probably at least 10 more years if you want it. But I actually brought this question up to Des. Danny doesn't have 10 more years, that's for sure. By the time you're playing in another playoff series, more than likely you'll see Danny on air somewhere. As of right now, he has an ESPN contract. I'm curious if you end up having a bad game, which is fair. It happens to everybody. What do you expect to hear from Danny when he gets in front of a microphone? How 100 can he be?
I expect Danny to tell me I play like shit. And I expect Danny to not only tell me that on the phone, but also say that in person. I think, it is what it is. I think, there's, especially if I deserve especially if I deserve it, if I'm not playing up to my par in whatever season this is when you're out there. Because, like I said, like Danny and I know, like I ask him all the time, like, hey, bro, what you think? Like, what you see? And it could be like, hey, like, you got to pick this shit up. Or it's like, no, you're doing, like, you know what I mean? But I'm a guy that's, like to be held accountable.
He's the rare superstar that's humble enough to ask and hold himself accountable and not be okay with taking a criticism. There's not a lot of guys out there that are sensitive and not able to take the criticism. He's one of the very few coming from New York, and having some coaches, Patino, and being at Louisville, being at different places, and be able to hold himself. Even in Utah, I'm sure they held him accountable, but be able to accept it and also take the criticism in good stride and not be sensitive to it. He's one of the very few ones. So, that's one of the things I do appreciate about him. He's not one of those guys that's like, you need to be here. He's like, all right, let me find the compromise. Let me see what I'm doing wrong. And, we can figure this out. So that's what makes it a lot easier for us to play with him. And I'm sure it makes it easier for him to be himself on the court too, and us to be able to help him, make the game easier for him. So.
Yeah, no, I love to hear that. Obviously, I think, Danny, your original stint with the San Antonio Spurs playing with Tim Duncan maybe makes you think about that often.
Yeah, they spoiled you there.
Yeah, for sure.
But Don is he's one of the good ones. He's definitely one of the good ones that spoiled. Speaking of baseball, I don't mean to change the subject too much, H, but this just brought back to my mind that you played when you were younger.
Sure, I was. Yeah, sure.
So what made you choose basketball over baseball? Well, how good were you? What made you choose? And when did you decide to let go of baseball?
Baseball is my best sport. I mean, I played baseball, football, and basketball, and by the time I chose to play just basketball, that's probably what I was worst at. But I had just been playing baseball like 120 games a summer, ever since I was 8, 9 years old or whatever. So
you were a hitter?
I did a little bit of everything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I did a little bit.
Hey, bro, that's where the money's at, bro. You probably should have stuck with that, honestly.
But nah, so I did a little bit of everything, and then I got to high school, and I was just kind of burnt out on it. And basketball just kind of has the swag, the culture, you going to the park. Like, that's what I started. I started with just going to the park. Like, I'm always playing outside, and like everybody meeting up at this spot called Clear Creek, where I was from. So like my love for the game just continued to grow, and I was like, man, I want to play AU basketball. And I was like, okay, I'm playing AU basketball. I'm done with baseball. And my high school, I went to high school with like 80 kids in the high school, graduating class of 20 kids. So it was hard to field a baseball team. So the coach comes up to me and is like, yo, like, I know you played in the past. You're good. Like, we need you. And I'm like, all right, I'll play, but I'm not going to like sacrifice my AAU weekends for the baseball tournament. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna miss my baseball game. So, first 2 weeks, we don't have no weekend games. Everything's going cool. I'm batting third, you know what I'm saying? Playing center field, whatever, pitching a little bit. And we have a doubleheader on the weekend. And I'm like, yo, I'm missing the game, yada, yada, yada. All right, blah, blah. So then we have a game on Tuesday. I don't play like the first 5 innings of the game. I come in, have like 1 at bat, whatever, play the 4 innings, boom, weekend comes again. I can't make it. I got an AU tournament. Oh, you're letting your teammates down, all that stuff. So I was like, all right, man, I'm cool. Like, I told you what it was, like, and that was that. And my high school didn't have a football team. Like I said, it was hard to field a baseball team, so we damn sure couldn't have a football team. So it's almost like basketball took over.
That's how it was for me when I transferred schools. We didn't have a football team. And I was basketball, football mostly. What position did you play in football?
Wide receiver, really.
Okay.
Wide receiver. When I was young, I played quarterback and running back, but wide receiver.
Yeah, I was a QB, and I had to make the decision, but it was easier once I went to a school, it was Catholic school, that didn't have football team. So I was like, all right, it's not going to tug me to go play. I'm not going to feel like I miss it as much if it's not right there in front of me. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's interesting, bro. Is that one of the reasons why you wasn't recruited so heavily or so highly through basketball when you were coming out?
I think because of my school size. I mean, because my junior year in high school, I averaged 27 a game. My senior year, I averaged 30. So it's not like I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, putting up numbers. It was just,
you were smaller then.
Yeah, I was small. I was probably like 6'3", but I was the tallest player on the floor. Like I was playing in the middle of the 2-3 zone, and I was on offense. So it's like, what is it? And you know my arms.
Yeah. You play in the middle of 2-3 and 6'3". That's kind of crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's just like, is this dude a big? Is he a guard? Like, I wasn't shooting threes because, like I said, I was the tallest player on the floor. So I'm just running to the rim. Like, I'm getting the rebound, running to the rim. And if I miss it, I'm getting the offensive rebound and putting it back. So,
what made you choose TCU? Sorry, Age. What made you choose TCU?
I just, like, my senior year, I started getting a bunch of steam because I played in this tournament called the Bob Weddick tournament. It was like the biggest high school tournament in Indiana. And I won most valuable player. So like I finally did it against real competition. Like, so everybody was like, okay, this kid might be for real. Started getting some mid-major offers. Purdue started tugging on me a little bit. So I was like, do I hold out for the school that I've been, dreaming of going to since I was a kid? Like, and so I'm holding out. And I ended up playing AAU as a senior because they wanted to see me play like on the circuit. It was like, yeah, you did it one tournament. We want to see you on the circuit. So I'm playing on the circuit. I'm killing, getting mid-major offers left and right. Like literally pick up a phone, offer, 5 more minutes, pick up a phone, offer. But it's like Winthrop, Furman.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I just,
where's my school? Waiting on my school.
Yeah,
Where's
like,
it at?
That's not what I'm playing for. So like,
what was your dream school?
What'd you say?
What was the dream school you're waiting for?
Indiana or Purdue, either one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you grow up in Indiana, you wear the candy stripes, so you play for Purdue. That was pretty much it. But the 2 weeks go by, and my grandma and grandpa, they were tired of it. Like, they were like, man, just commit. The school that I was going to go to was Miami, Ohio. It was like 20 minutes away from the crib, so I'd still be able to come home for dinners and yada, yada, yada. So bro, crazy story. I'm pulling into my driveway and I'm ready to go inside and commit to Miami, Ohio. Like, I just had a heart-to-heart with one of my homeboys. Like, I'm done, I'm ready. This is like May. Like, so I got a month until I'm graduating high school. That's at the very end. And I get a call from my AU coach, and he's like, TCU been trying to get a hold of you. And I was like, I ain't got no missed calls. Send me. I said, send me their number. So he sends me their number. I call him, the coach, and like, yo, it's Desmond Bane. Like, I heard y'all been trying to get a hold of me. He's like, yeah, we want to get you down here for an official visit. Jalen Fisher just committed. Jamie Dixon just got the new head coaching job. I was like, I'm coming this weekend. So I go down to visit. And if you know anything about Jamie Dixon, he's just a different cat in general. So like, the whole visit was just kind of weird. Like, I didn't know if he liked me, if he didn't. I left the visit not knowing if I had an offer. Like, I texted.
Did he come from Pitt?
Yeah, straight. Yeah.
He recruited me when he was at Pitt when I was younger. So yeah, I know he is a little different. Yeah, but
sure.
So you left in limbo, not knowing what was happening, if they really wanted you or not.
Exactly. So long story short, I ended up, committing there like a week before I graduated high school. It was down there 2 days after I graduated. So everything was happening so fast. And I got down and hated that shit.
Oh man.
Nah, it's dope that you've been able to, rise from that tournament and really go up into what you've done now with looking like you're going to be a career at least 20 point per game scorer. And obviously
potential all-star kid, you're gonna be an all-star, bro. That's
should be.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah. The thing that I am going to find interesting, because I think you at least have another 10 years minimum if you wanted to in you. Danny does not have 10 left. He will still play, but doesn't have 10. But he will be transitioning to the media side of things. And so as you're continuing to glow up and having big time performances and big time games, you might see Danny on TV somewhere talking about you. I am curious, my friend, when you have a bad game, a poor game, how real can one Danny Green get on the microphone?
Oh, you keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's part of the game. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your good games, you're gonna have your bad games, and all in between. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like you're going on there lying, saying that I played bad when I really played good. Like, if I played bad, I played bad. I ain't tripping.
I think he'd probably be your first teammate, right? If I'm trying to think of your history of teammates, he's probably going to be your first teammate that you'll see commenting on air somewhere.
Bro,
Yeah.
he was commenting on air this year. I'm sitting there in the room. We're on the road. He's in the ESPN studio. Like, yo.
Yeah, I was at half court with Brendan. With oh no, what's his name? Brendan Knight. So I'm over there with them on the sideline. They in the game looking like, is Danny on the sideline talking on the TV? Like, bro, what you doing? Yeah, they called me into the truck, bro. I'm gonna talk the game a little bit. But yeah,
though, bro. Like,
I gotta keep it a buck, man. So forewarning, when it happens, you already know how it's gonna be. But I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not gonna be like Chuck and Shaq and those guys. I'm not attacking anybody. JJ is a good. He'll tell guys when they do right or wrong, but he's gonna still back the players always. That's always gonna be me. Perk sometimes can go on a whim here and there and talk some shit a little bit, but he keeps it real, keeps it 100. Some guys take it sensitively, but I don't think you guys are that group that take it to heart or take it sensitively. So yeah, they'll take it in good stride, H. But we do. So DB, he's got all these interesting antics.
Yeah, I'm be curious to hear your takes on that.
Yes, but I would love to. I know he doesn't do podcasts, but as much as he does antics with the media and stuff, he might as well. It'd be interesting. I wouldn't doubt it when he's done. He'll probably get one. But excuse me. But one day we'll try to get him on the pod to talk his side of everything that has so many things have transpired with him, to get his perspective on a lot of things that have happened in the media and how their perspective of him in the media, which is not entirely who he is. But it'll be interesting to see how some of these guys play out the rest of their careers.
Danny, actually, that I'm thankful that you brought back up Dillon Brooks, because you were his teammate when him and Donovan Mitchell got into a little situation. Now you were Donovan. Now you're Donovan Mitchell's teammate.
Yes.
The floor is yours. Now you got both sides of the story, huh?
Yes. That was funny because
as a true reporter.
They were like that was one of the first things we discussed when I got here, but they didn't realize that I was here. They're like, "Wait, you were here for that?" I was like, "Yeah, I was right there, courtside. I saw the whole thing. I had my popcorn. I watched. I didn't get up. I just watched it." Yeah. So that security guy got messed up. Kevin broke his ribs. So y'all messed him up. He's like, "Man," he's like, "That's kind of crazy, man." He's like, Don was like, "DB about to get his, he's talking this, DB about to get his ass whooped." I'm a nice guy. Why is he always doing some? He's like, "Bruh." And I was like, yo, he's really not that type of dude. On the court, he's like that. He's like, yo, really I fucking hate playing against that guy. He was actually having a good game against, Don's, they're all nice guys here. Yeah. They don't have no, but they're like, yo, bro, what's up with him? Why is he always acting like a fucking idiot? Like, why is he always ready to whip his ass? And he's like, I don't know why they're trying to spin me. I'm one of the nice guys in the world. He hit me in the nuts. I was like, yeah, I saw it too. It said earlier in the game, I think he got hit in the groin area before. And I think that kind of led up to that. And DB was the icing on the cake. And then he was like, God damn it, that's it. And he just threw the ball. I was like, oh man. But we had a discussion about it here when I first got here. It was kind of funny, man.
Did you see mine with Kevin Love, bro?
No, I did not.
Did you see it?
I didn't. Now I gotta pull it up.
Now we gotta look it up.
Now we gotta look it up.
What transpired with that one? What happened?
Yeah, tell the story. And I'm looking at the video now.
It's crazy, bro, because I was catching heat like DB was. Like I was trying to square this dude right in his shit, but like they're blitzing me, so I'm frustrated.
Oh, the nut check. Yeah, by accidental nut check in Miami. I'm like, I saw the play.
Accident.
Total accident. He fell like, I'm like, bro, to get thrown out is wild though. I understand flagrant one maybe to be like, because the stuff they review, but it said it's totally accidental, which is crazy. You don't have a history of doing anything dirty, but that's where our league is now. I said I wish some of the things were more consistent and would change, like be tightened up or adjusted. But it is what it is, and I think each year they review it and look at it and they try to make the adjustments. But the league it's a little different place than what it was back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, Des, this has been good, man. I think we've gotten some stories.
We got some great shit, man.
We got some insights into potential playoff series. Oh, did we get the 3 keys?
We did not for his Lakers series. This is it. Lakers series. This is one that we're predicting is probably going to happen.